Here we are at the Old City Cemetery. We are in Tallahassee, Florida. This was filmed on July 12th of 2025, and because of the size of this cemetery, I've decided to split up this footage into 3 separate parts. The sign here to the left is about planting and maintenance of plots, and on the right is the burial plot map. This cemetery is divided into 4 main quadrants, and it should be easy to find everything, but I am notoriously directionally deficient. Starting at the left and working my way back, I first see some storm damage from some recent storms. This is pretty typical in Florida. There's heavy rainfall and a lot of wind, and branches just come down all over the place. I'm sure that kind of debris has to get cleaned up all the time during rainy season. Right away, you can see how unique and old these headstones are. The cemetery itself was first established in 1829. I can't help but think that the mud being kicked back up over the tombstones brings a levity to the age of these. At first, the burial locations were haphazard. By 1841, they began to organize the plots into neat squares. This sudden need for organization was a sanitary measure. That summer, Tallahassee became overwhelmed with cases of yellow fever. The outbreak really reshaped Tallahassee from top to bottom. The population of the area at the time was around 1,600 people, and somewhere between 200 and 400 died during this summer period. Nowadays, we know that yellow fever is spread by mosquitoes, which you get a lot of in Florida. At that time, though, they really didn't have a clue, so they were trying anything and everything possible to prevent transmission. I should also add that this was the primary public cemetery. As such, all kinds of people are buried here. You'll find the wealthy and the poor. You'll find slaves and slave owners. You'll find veterans. You'll basically find people from every walk of life. I had to pause here at this collection of graves because they're all so different from one another. In a lot of families, the headstones will have a consistency, but it's really neat to see the individuality here. In this case, the vine-covered tombs appear intentional. I think that the maintenance of these bushes and plants has changed some over time. The growth can end up covering grave markers. Moving off to the left, we find the stone that marks this area as the location of many unmarked Confederate soldier burials. As you can see, there are quite a few that are marked as well. At the time, only whites could be buried in the eastern half of the cemetery. Confederate soldiers were buried there as well. In 1865, Confederate and Union soldiers clashed in the Battle of Natural Bridge. After the Confederate victory, all Union soldiers buried in Old City Cemetery were buried in the section that was designated for men and women of color. As we move back toward that center pathway, we're heading to the dividing line between the eastern and western cemetery. You may notice that many of the graves here have these stones that outline the perimeter of the grave. These are called curb sets. They were originally put there for organization. Nowadays, you might see them more often just for aesthetic appeal. In the early graves here, the header and footer were made of wood, so they deteriorated a long time ago. As we approach this double crypt mausoleum, I'm going to wrap up for today. In the next video, I'll be wandering the right half of the cemetery and discussing the historical figures buried there. Part 3 will be about the cemetery's best-known ghost story. Thanks for taking a stroll with me.